Hey guys, Stefan Fischer here from All Off Road. I hope you guys are well. Did you know that commercial operators can soon book your favorite campgrounds in national parks 6 months before you can? No price controls, limited transparency. National parks say it's about accessibility, but when I compare these to what Victoria discovered in their research, the whole story falls apart. Plus, I'll show you the one thing that's actually enshrined in law that they are ignoring. Watch to the end, because I also do offer a few possible solutions. Now, before we get into the video, this is important information that affects everyone who uses New South Wales national parks. If you value what I'm about to share, please watch to the end and share this video. YouTube's algorithm pushes content that people watch completely and share widely. The more people who see these before October 28, the better. In a recent video, I covered the proposed camping fee increase in New South Wales national parks. Now, there's another development that shows where these may be heading. National Parks has opened expressions of interest for commercial operators to run supported camping at 23 campgrounds across 16 national parks. These operators can provide fully set up tents, caravans, equipment, bedding, cooking gear and even food services. They are saying this makes camping accessible to people without gear or experience. But the details I find concerning. Commercial operators can book campsites 12 months in advance. Regular campers get 6 months. They are giving private businesses first access to our public camping spots. Think about places like Dun Swamp, Thredbo Diggings, the Basin, Pretty Beach and Depot Beach. They are already difficult to book in peak times. Now commercial operators get priority access 6 months before we can. The lack of transparency is also problematic. Only 3 campgrounds have specified limits. For the other 19 campgrounds, we don't know how many sites operators can book. 8 campgrounds restrict commercial bookings during school holidays. The other 15 don't have that protection. Now, I came across a Victorian government study from 2022, the Sea to Summit Market Research. Victoria commissioned these to plan a multi-day hiking trail in East Gippsland. They surveyed over 2,000 people nationally to understand what attracts people to multi-day nature experiences. The findings contradict what New South Wales seems to be doing. The Victorian research found people want to experience wild nature, not have it dominated by commercial infrastructure. They wanted to feel they haven't harmed the environment. Accommodation type barely mattered. Adding luxury wilderness cottages only increased appeal by 2.5%. A basic hut with decent facilities was just as acceptable. What actually mattered was making the experience accessible. Reasonable distance, not overly strenuous, and 3 to 5 days duration. I want to quickly interrupt and ask you for a personal favor. I'm doing these now for 14 years and I noticed a lot of my viewers are not subscribed. I really would love to crack that 100k subscriber mark and receive one of these YouTube plugs. So please, if you value my content and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It really would help me out a lot. So back to the content. The Victorian study found 66% of Australians have done or intended to do multi-day nature experiences. The limiting factor is access and infrastructure, not equipment. But New South Wales National Parks seems to have reached the opposite conclusion. Now, let me be clear what national parks were actually designed for, because this isn't just my opinion, it's enshrined in the law. When Australia's first national park, now Royal National Park, was established in 1879, public recreation and health were central to its creation. John Lucas stated in Parliament, "The health of the people should be on the first object of all good government." The park was explicitly designed as a recreational reserve for public enjoyment. And this dual mandate, conservation and public enjoyment, remains in current New South Wales legislation. Section 2A of the National Parks and Wildlife Act 1974 explicitly requires fostering public appreciation, understanding and enjoyment of nature. Section 30E states that national parks must provide opportunities for sustainable visitor or tourist use and enjoyment, which the Act defines to include appropriate public recreation. This isn't just a nice to have. It's a statutory obligation binding on national park managers. Public enjoyment is as much a legal requirement as conservation. We pay taxes. National parks are services to citizens, not a revenue stream. Countries like Sweden and Norway have gone further. They are enshrined the right to roam in their constitution. Alleemansretten gives everyone the legal right to access and enjoy nature, to walk, camp, forage and explore, regardless of who owns the land. In Australia, where we have no shortage of land, this principle is possibly even more important. Yet we are moving in the opposite direction, restricting access and commercializing what should be public spaces. Now yes, humans do have an impact, but we need perspective. Bushfires burn huge amount of our national parks every year. Often exactly that areas which are closed to public access. The impact from four-wheel driving, hiking, camping, fossicking pales in comparison to what bushfires create. And it is evident that with current policies, bushfires can't be prevented. Areas locked off to the public still burn. So in my opinion, we may as well allow people to enjoy these places. Victoria did proper research to understand what people wanted from nature experiences. They are building public infrastructure that meets actual demand. New South Wales is going the opposite direction. In my 25 years camping around Australia, the real camping community is families and individuals who invested in gear, learned the skills and passed down the love of the outdoors to their kids. If people want glamping, we've already have caravan parks, hip camp, Airbnb and other private operators. Here is what doesn't add up. National parks keep saying visitor numbers are increasing and campgrounds are oversubscribed. If campgrounds are already full, why attract more people unless you're building new capacity? But they are not. They're handing over existing sites to commercial operators. The license fees are minimal. $830 to $1,246 per year, plus 5 to 10% of turnover. Operators could have multiple locations under a single license. No price control mentioned. These sites could go for hundreds of dollars per night. I recently booked the Washpool campground for 4 nights. $140 in a basic campground with a drop toilet. A few years ago, that would have cost me a $6 reservation fee. When we now also put commercial operators into the picture, and they can charge premium prices for sites that used to be accessible to everyone, and families and people can't book because businesses book them 6 months earlier, in my book that's a big problem. Michael Atkinson from Alone Australia put it well. This is public land, these are public campsites. They shouldn't be up for commercial gain. They are treating national parks once again like a business. Instead of expanding capacity to meet demand, they are handing over existing sites to commercial operators. In my view, this is privatization by stealth. Combined with the fee increases, you can see where this is heading. National parks becoming places for wealthy tourists or affluent inner city yuppies rather than everyday Australian families. So what would I like to see instead? Here are some practical solutions. First, leave national park campgrounds for the public. No commercial operators. Please expand popular campgrounds and add facilities, fine. But what we really need are more wilderness campgrounds, accessible by four-wheel drive, in parks that currently have limited or no access. That would reduce the pressure on the more frequented and popular campgrounds and also would accommodate the increased user base. Second, please introduce a yearly national parks pass for frequent users that includes camping fees, even at a little bit higher price, but that way families would know exactly what they are paying upfront. Third, to fix a ghost booking problem, go back to first come, first serve with honesty boxes. These systems worked for decades before COVID. Or if you insist on online booking, provide internet access at campgrounds. Starlink makes this possible now. For popular coastal sites, pre-book 50% of the sites and leave 50% first come, first served. Fourth, increase access. Create 2 to 3 day four-wheel drive adventures, like the old army route through the Wollemi, with gated access where people pay for their entry. This allows number control and accountability. Fifth, stop concentrating your surveys on affluent inner city people who use coastal campgrounds. The vast majority of campers I've met over 25 years are experienced families, couples and solo campers, who value remoteness, basic facilities like a long drop toilet, and low prices. This is a big part of your actual user base. And maybe it's time Australia introduces a right to roam law, similar to Sweden. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Because here's the danger. With current policies, people will simply stop using official campgrounds. They'll cut their own camps to avoid excessive fees, or they won't pay at all. This sentiment has already gained traction on social media. And National Parks doesn't have the resources to enforce compliance. You are creating the very problem you are trying to solve. So these are a few solutions I came up with, but let me know in the comment section whether you have better solutions. The trial starts March 2026. Expression of interest closes October 28, 2025. So what do you reckon? Is this improving access or privatizing our public lands? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't seen my previous video about the camping fee increases, please check that out. When you see both changes together, the picture becomes clear. Look, this channel runs at a loss. It is self-funded with very little sponsorship. Just me spending time and money on research, filming and editing because I reckon these issues matter. If you value independent content, please consider supporting me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. For the price of a couple of coffees, you help me stay independent and keep producing this content. You can't support financially? No problem. Share the video, leave a comment, get involved. Bye for now, and I hope to see you along the tracks.